You want to secure your assets.
We can crack the wallet.
Oh, we've done it before.
We've got rigs. Character adversary attribution mode.
With our private keys combined.
Building some kind of blockchain super weapon.
There's just a number of vulnerabilities that are in the smart contracts.
Math. It's probably secure.
They all secretly mine cryptocurrency.
What coin can I trust? Which one is cryptographically secure?
Don't roll your own crypto. CoinSec Podcast.
Oh, shit.
Welcome to the CoinSec Podcast.
2 guys, 1 box.
Wow, it's amazing.
Whoa. What's happening here? Wait.
This is awkward.
It is weird.
So Ralph is visiting Corey.
I left my house and I ended up here, and I'm not sure how. But yeah,
It was
here we
all
are.
social engineering.
Yeah.
So what's funny is Ralph doesn't know this, but Corey actually hired me to go steal Ralph's Bitcoin from his house while he's gone out of Florida.
Exactly. Yeah. We have a whole thing.
He's got those cameras dialed in right to his phone. They're all 8K in his house, motion sensing, facial recognition, has it all.
Oh yeah.
I also have the Gator turrets too, and they're programmed for your guys' face. So
Yeah, facial recognition.
facial recognition.
Well, good
It
thing, I mean, I can make the beard shorter, maybe.
Yeah, it honestly, it sends me a message on my phone, like a push notification. It's like approve, shooting. So,
Approve shooting, and it's just default set to yes if no response. In
yes,
30
no
seconds.
response in 30 seconds. It just goes, full Gator torrent.
Yeah, Bo. So those Ralph masks we made, those are gonna have to be used another time since they didn't come out right.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, there's a cat too.
My house is a disaster right now.
This one's real. This one's real squirrely right here.
He's chasing the cursor, but on the screen, luckily.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a catastrophe?
It's a full-on cat.
Catastrophe. Oh, the dad jokes and the
far.
punnies are out.
Too far. Cool. Well, welcome, guys. We're here for episode 58. We missed last week, so we got a lot to catch up on this week. So I guess we could jump right into it. We got news to talk about. Steve's going to show a pretty awesome demo for some transaction stuff later on, and should be good.
Demo, eh?
Doing it live.
Is this where you're going to demo you getting my Bitcoin wallet? Because that seems pretty depressing.
We're just going to look at your balance, Ralph.
Yeah. We're just gonna air it, and that way that RIP my email address
And your ETH address so we can see all the rugs you've been rugged.
Yeah, and just the trail of tears in crypto.
All of his money's in Swamp Finance. How did this happen?
It seemed like a good name.
So what's funny is that's the airdrop that needs to happen, right? Like somebody needs to go figure out all of the massive rug pulls and all of the different hacks that have happened, and then correlate wallets to all of those events, and then depending on how much you lost, depends on how much you're going to get airdropped in a token.
What is it called? Like redemption coin or something?
Yes, redemption coin.
Yeah.
I'd totally bite, and they'd be like, "Oh, sweet! I got this airdrop from that one time I got rugged, and that other time I got rugged. Wow, I got a lot of coins."
I mean, they did it for gas, right? Like Ethereum gas.
Yeah.
So why not do it for all the rugs that have happened?
Wait, really? There's an airdrop for gas?
Yeah, the more
Yeah.
airdrops you got.
There's actually 2 of them.
And then you had to pay like $100 gas just to get the airdrop for like $30.
Yeah.
The audacity.
tokens.
It was all a Ponzi scheme.
It always is.
Yep.
All right, so first up, big story. There was an executive order last week on digital assets, and this was something that I saw like a lot of people get really hyped up about because it could have gone, drastically different in either way, right? It could have been catastrophic for the crypto industry if he, basically said, all right, we're going to just not allow this to happen and, shut it down of sorts, or it could have, been really good, which so far it seems pretty positive. So the United States President Joe Biden signed an executive order on Wednesday calling on the government to examine the risks and benefits of cryptocurrencies. The measures focus on 6 key areas: consumer protection, financial stability, illicit activity, U.S. competitiveness, financial inclusion, and responsible innovation. And I think like the two most interesting ones that I see there that I am actually like really happy that he called out are the U.S. competitiveness and the responsible innovation, right? Because that's one of the big things that we see a lot when you ever hear about like restrictiveness when it comes to anything crypto related is like, well, you're limiting innovation, right?
Right.
So what are you guys' thoughts on the executive order here?
It's
Pretty,
good the government's acknowledging that it exists. That's a step in the right direction.
Yep, I think on like episode 1 or 2 or something like that, I said it would take a nation adopting it or at least accepting it as a form of payment within their ecosystem as a real boost to it, right? And we did see the price jump pretty quickly afterwards, because everybody was like, "Oh, it's not the end of the world," and then it was basically a pretty broad brush strokes. So it's not very dialed in on what they're going to do. It's more of a, hey, let's just explore these ideas. But it's great for the community because now we have those the validation, like Corey said, that it exists. So.
I mean, my question is, how are they going to approach this? Like, it's the completely unregulated market where they have no real control. What are they going to do? Be like, all exchanges must use U.S. proxy exchanges to do transactions so we can monitor for illicit activity? Like, how are they going to? I don't know. I don't see how they're going to make it into a government thing.
Well, let's not forget they're also exploring the possibility of making their own crypto. So I think that's competitiveness right there with other countries like China, who I believe will probably come out with it's probably going to be a race here pretty soon on who's going to come out with the first basically government issued coin. And I'm sure it'll be a stable coin of some kind most likely, but I think that's going to be the real catalyst to see this move forward. And the regulations that come around that, will they be restrictive? Oh, you can only use this coin, or you can only earn interest off of this coin for taxes? I don't know.
My other question is, who's going to do it?
Open.
It better not be the IRS. Who's going to do it?
It'll be the Treasury Department most likely.
Okay, that's like more reasonable. Someone that's actually not the IRS and isn't just like, we want to get paid, so Bitcoin is bad.
Which financial crimes fall under the Secret Service, so I'm sure they'll have some sway in it as well.
Yep. So it should be interesting to kind of keep an eye on that. Hopefully things maintain the state where we can continue to build, right? Like that's the biggest thing that I'm hopeful for, is that, they don't just think that it's just, all scams and all illegal activity, so therefore it's all bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's even legal precedent we know, like they can still track it when it hits USD, right? Like that's really the biggest thing I feel like they have to conclude is like, okay, maybe illicit. Like but if someone in Mexico is paying someone with Mexican pesos, the U.S. government isn't involved. So it's not like it's like when it hits the U.S. dollar, that's when they're supposed to pay attention. But I guess we'll see. It'd be a bummer if it turned out to be like all negative. But I feel like the fact that they're acknowledging it, it's more of a positive. The whole don't ask, don't tell from the government is more of like a risky position where they're just like, claim it on your taxes. Okay, cool. Moving on. Like.
Yeah,
cool.
the one that pushed me out of there real quick was consumer protection. So that's a kind of a long arm of the law, I would say. Like, what would they consider that they're protecting me from that they would then like reduce my ability to, I don't know, move crypto around or transfer it or whatever, or swap it? Is there going to be restrictions based on protecting, people that really restrict the environment? That's the one phrase in there that got me is maybe standoffish, but the rest of it seems, pretty positive in my.
I don't think it would be necessarily a really bad thing if they addressed some of the areas. And it's funny because they don't do this with other, like, for example, with gift cards. There's common avenues for fraud, right? Like people go to the Target and buy a $500 Google Play gift card. Like, how often is that legitimate and how often is that fraud? I feel like it wouldn't be bad for them to address, like, go to a Bitcoin ATM and deposit $5,000. Like, you know what I mean? For them to just have some kind of like consumer awareness, consumer protection. Like, I don't know what exactly that would look like, but something like that where but again, they don't do that with gift cards, and it's not like that. They're addressing, that usage of that like financial mechanism for fraud. But so it's I don't know. But
well, it'd be
double
interesting.
standard.
Yeah, it'd be interesting along with consumer protection, the financial stability part of that, if they like include FDIC insurance on certain exchanges, if there's a method for them to on-ramp to get that protection for their users, if that'll ever come out.
It would be sweet. That would be a game changer.
Mhm.
If we can have FDIC insured Coinbase, like
Yeah.
that would be amazing.
Yep.
The U.S. backed dollar, right? Like crypto dollar, like token dollar, like, but it's the U.S. I don't know. That would be weird. I mean,
It's coming.
USDT.
yeah. I mean, like they already. we already have, like,
It's
stable-
1-to-1 with itself. Like, how do you do
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
The inflation on this cryptocurrency is massive.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting if like the government was issuing U.S. dollar
Fed coin.
token. Yeah, Fed coin. I don't know.
Fed coin, dude. That's what it would be.
Well, no, because I mean, like, all right, so you have USD, it'd be like USD, I don't know, C.
Yeah, that already exists.
Yeah, I
That's,
mean, like,
yeah.
well, there's already been iterations of this, but like one that was actually backed by the U.S. government as opposed to like Tether, which is just like, I don't know, a loosely based like printing machine. I don't know.
Right, yeah, Tether is really confusing. They're like, yeah, we mint 2 billion tokens every month and then nuke them. Like, I don't know how it works.
I'm not sure. All I know is I don't think they have all the U.S. dollar to back all those tokens.
They don't have Fort Knox.
Oh, that's okay. We can just print more.
Exactly.
Well, Secret Service might get involved if you print too many.
Yeah. I mean, the U.S. government prints it. I get it, right? But
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next story. So we're going to talk about some hacks next. First up is there was a reentrancy vulnerability found in Bacon Protocol, and they were hacked for about $1 million. So the Bacon Protocol introduces a new way for crypto wallet holders to hold a coin backed by mortgages similar to those used by banks, insurance companies, and governments. Reportedly, about $1 million was stolen. It's funny, like we haven't seen too many reentrancy recently. So it's kind of interesting that we've got another reentrancy on the line
Well,
here.
yeah, because these will pop in your common vulnerability scans, right? So this would typically show up. They did have a audit. I'm not quite sure who, and I don't know if I'd name them, but they had an audit by somebody. Didn't find this, which is surprising since you can kind of scan for this reentrancy vulnerability quite easily.
So for those that may be noobs, what is a reentrancy vulnerability, Bo or Steve?
Yeah, so reentrancy typically means when you have a function that does a specific task, like for example, updates the amount of a wallet. So like let's say that I send a transaction using a function, and that function updates the value associated with a wallet. If I can cause an external interaction with another contract that re-enters into the same function prior to it actually updating that balance, then I can effectively like loop through that transaction before it actually updates it within the contract state itself.
So like if you transfer coins out, it's not updating the amount, right? It's just transfer again, and it's not changing the value. So you can just keep going until it's drained. In most cases. Yep.
So,
Yep, exactly.
So this is why the cost of bacon is up right now.
Yep.
Yep.
They got USDC loans, or they got USDC out, so
So, Steve, what happened after this vulnerability was found?
All right, this is the one with for Bacon. They posted a blog post, I believe, that showed like what happened with the vulnerability, and then a guy or gal, I'm not sure who, posted out on Twitter that I found a smart contract vuln while reading a blog post. So basically, within the blog post, the fix for their original vulnerability introduced a new bug. So we do see that quite often with even Windows, right? They'll patch something, and then it doesn't, or it'll introduce another vulnerability of some sort. So, the software development lifecycle maybe isn't getting security involved throughout the whole thing. So yeah, so that's what happened in this case. Read a blog post, found another vulnerability. I don't know if they responsibly submitted it. I didn't see that here. And if they
I think
done
Yeah, it
Twitter-
says that
In
it does say
crypto,
they
Twitter
contacted
kind
them.
okay.
Yeah, and the other thing that's interesting about it too, Steve, is they use Tenderly to create a fork simulation, right?
Right, yeah, and that's something that I hadn't seen before with the Tenderly app. You can take a contract state, fork it, and run, write to the contract or whatever, read from the contract, do whatever you want in a simulated environment. So pretty cool. You can test out your exploits right from there. Not that you would do that if you were a malicious person, but yeah, you can go see what the attackers did, and it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
I will say, just for the record, mortgage-backed cryptocurrency makes my skin crawl. That is, like, especially since where are they, like, are they lending the money in the, like, can you go to Bacon and get a home loan, or are they just, like, wrapping, like, how does that even work? Or is it, like, they take actual securities that are up for, on like, normal stock exchanges?
So
How-
like mortgages are already like the most unregulated, then we're gonna go to the extra most unregulated, like, which is crypto. I don't know.
Yeah, that, I don't know about that. Just
So it says that the Bacon Protocol's first token, B Home, is backed by liens against homes in the United States and grows based on payments made against the liens. So yeah, so I'm not quite sure where the connect is from. The backed by liens, right? Are they buying those, or are they just saying? They have to own those liens in some method, right? They have to be like a bank if they're doing this, I would think, but it doesn't say here.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like a traditional finance thing, but then
Yeah.
you've got all this, fly-by-night crypto stuff tacked onto it.
Can I get a crypto-backed home loan?
That's
right?
yeah. Well, no, you can't because of no.
I don't.
You can't because, dude, who would seriously? Would you back that up? Would you be like, oh yeah, just random home loans? I'll give you Bitcoin. You use it to buy a home, and you'll pay me back. Do you believe?
I
me?
could see that with a stable coin, but not with a volatile coin, right?
Yeah.
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 Here's my Bitcoin. It's 50K today. Now my house is worth half of that the next day, right?
Yeah.
That's
Next thing you
probably
know,
not
you're
gonna
like
turn
you're
out too
paying a $2 million home that only cost like $300,000 a year ago.
Yeah, not to mention, like, how do you have like a team of repo men? Like, like.
Well, I mean that's how traditional mortgages work, though, right? You just file the
Right.
paperwork with the state, and eventually you can
True.
reclaim the home after a while, like after the whole process of the foreclosure and stuff. So I mean, like, you could still get the house back, I guess. But I mean, here's the real question: from a buyer's perspective, what's the benefit of using crypto? Right? Maybe some great interest rate. I don't know.
No approval process.
No approval. You're approved. Stamp. That'll be the commercial. You're
Ninja-
approved.
Ninja loan.
Yeah. Well, then you could do like a DAO too, where you're just like that. That'll really net you out.
Yeah.
Right?
I approve Corey's loan. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, thanks, man.
Maybe there's like a voting process.
Let me
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
You staked like $3, so you should get the signing rights to that.
Yeah, I get a percentage of the signing rights. That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe this will change.
I will say when that will happen, and when it does, that'll be a big milestone for crypto. Like
Yeah.
when you can actually get a $400,000 loan from crypto and like it's legit. That will be a big. That will
Well,
be like.
I mean, if you think about it in traditional mortgages, right? Like people pull resources together or get resources from the U.S. federal government to back or to create money to create mortgages, so on and so forth, right? But if you did it in crypto, you could do it the same way, right? You could just have pools of money, and you'd still be able to collect on it, right? But you could just buy, in essence, the same way it works in the stock market with shares of a mortgage, right? That's backed by it's a share of.
That might be
mortgage-backed
what
security.
this was. It might be what Bacon was. We don't really know much about it, but.
So the real question is, will I be able to use a flash loan to buy a $400,000 house?
yeah.
Well, that's exactly what it would be. That's exactly what it would be.
Yeah.
Flash
basically.
loan to buy a $10 million home, only paid back $200.
Yeah, the old pump and dump. How'd you
Oh.
get your house? Flash loan.
Flash loan. Yeah, they shut that down.
I was the one that they let it go through.
Yeah. No, they didn't see me coming.
All right, moving on. So next up is Phantasm Finance was hacked for $2.7 million. Fantasm Finance tweeted and informed the community that there is an urgent announcement. People should redeem their XFTM. FTM collateral reserve has been exploited. There's still almost 2 million FTM pool balance remaining currently for redemption. The hackers were able to mint way more XFTM tokens than they were supposed to. I don't know if all the details are here or not. I haven't actually gone through it yet. But it looks...
They did deploy a contract and then swapped. What did they say? They called the.
It's a failed balance check, right? Basically, they don't check your real balance; they only check your Phantasm LN.
No, yeah. So there would be two things here. That Corey, and then they're not checking that the receiving address is not a contract. Right. So it like another contract shouldn't be allowed to probably do this.
We definitely need to get the bingo card out for this one. Like,
Tornado Cash.
Yeah, Tornado Cash. Crazy, ridiculous name that
Phantasm.
like Phantasm. Like, who comes up with this? Is there like a dartboard that you can throw at to pick out your new name? What else?
Yeah.
That sounds like a great like CoinSec item we should make.
Yes,
the
The
crypto hack bingo board.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Flash loan, Tornado Cash, Reentrancy can be in there. Race conditions.
They have to have a Medium like post page where they put all their stuff, right?
That's their website.
It's just medium.com.
/Phantasm.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have a real
or
website.
Twitter.
Or Twitter.
They don't have a website, just
combo.
a Twitter.
Yeah.
The real question is, how is there 1,000 ETH in there? It's crazy. Who is putting put me 100 ETH in Phantasm? What?
Put me down for 100 ETH. I got this. I believe in it. Oh, wrecked.
Phantasm. So tell me again how you lost our kids' college fund.
It was
It was not fantastic.
Oh, that's a good one.
Not a rug. Oh yeah, Ryan said add rug pull to the.
Yeah, this one wasn't a rug. This was a straight up like traditional hack. So we feel, right? You know, sometimes the rugs are masked with the hack, right? You make a vulnerability, wait till there's enough money in there, and then you hack it, and then the developer doesn't pull the rug. They keep the website up, which then they're just like, oh, we're really sorry.
Speaking of rug pulls.
Oh, I knew one was coming.
Ding, 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 ding.
So, it's not, nobody knows for sure yet, but, potentially this next one we're going to talk about. So Pirate X is an NFT game. So Pirate X Pirates, it's a blockchain gaming platform with a pirate theme. And in this world, you're rewarded with money from your adventures through the high seas. Well, their staking contract was leaked. And initially, the BlockSec team had reported that this was possibly a private key leak.
Oh my god, dude. Did you see that their official blog post starts, "Dear Pirate Mateys"?
Yeah. Marketing team works an hour on that.
Why isn't it like in pirate speak? Yar, we've been plundered by the high seas, the black pearl, the our cash.
Missed opportunity for sure.
I don't know if anyone was laughing though when they read this.
So okay, if we have a special bingo card just for rug pulls, medium.com is on there, number 1. Number 2, lost our private key or private key hack.
Yeah.
How
the
did
private
it happen?
keys always, they're just all over the internet. We left it in an open S3 bucket.
Yeah, don't worry.
We should probably throw like anonymous team in there somewhere,
Oh, yeah.
Development team, definitely.
Discord.
Yes.
Discord's in there. So it does say, we deeply regret bypassing the inspection that should have been done by a white hat hacker, as we intended to roll out the feature long suspended as fast as we could.
See, kids, get your contracts audited.
Yeah. Well, no, that's how you know it's a rug. They don't get it audited,
Well, dude, it also says, we have decided to dismiss our current development team. Why? Because they're going to go retire to Costa Rica?
Yeah, blame shifting too. That's a really common one.
Okay, so I take back the anonymous team on this one. It does actually look like Like if you go to their website, the pirate.io, they do have LinkedIn profiles to a bunch of people. So
Are
they
they
might actually be
real
doxed.
names, or is it like Captain Jack Sparrow?
Captain Jack
No,
Sparrow. Are
they're-
they wearing outfits
they're
that
real.
are all pirate themed? Because I
They're
feel
real.
like
I
they
mean,
would only be
Ryan
on
can.
brand.
Yeah, if you scroll to the bottom, Ryan, you'll see them.
Is this game even fun?
I mean, it looks fun.
Not
I mean, it's got
anymore.
pirate theme.
Not
anymore.
anymore.
There.
Those aren't real names.
Yeah, dude, this is all AI generated.
Party Hat? You're telling me Party Hat is the guy's real name?
I mean, all right, I have no idea if they're
Okay,
AI
dude.
generated.
If this is the moderation team at DEF CON, it's one thing, but this is a freaking developer.
Grin.
Give
is
them
that it? Yeah.
give them all of my money.
Wait, they have LinkedIn's. Go.
Go,
to
go,
LinkedIn.
check those LinkedIn's. When were they made?
Let's see what Pirate Hat's doing, or whatever his name is.
They just doxed other people. These people aren't even on the team.
Yeah, there are like AI people generators. So go to Party Hat. Let's see what's his career history look like. Click on that LinkedIn under there, Ryan.
Here we go.
Oh,
gotta log in.
paywalled.
They want to know that they know that you wanted to look at them.
Just go to the cash version of that. It'll work. Yeah, I mean that sucks. I will say, like, they did buy it back at the very least. They bought back the stolen PXP or whatever, and so they're gonna return that to the pool. So theoretically, no harm done. But it is funny. They're like, yeah, we just nuked our entire development team.
Yeah, we fired all of them. All 4 of them.
They're gonna have to get rid of Party Hat too.
Yeah, dude.
So all right. So I went on another account where I've got LinkedIn logged in, and his name's actually Partitat Pangsith Paisal. He's from Thailand.
Okay, from Thailand.
Okay.
Okay, so I apologize.
He's
for
got
assuming
a
his name
history.
was Party
No.
Hat. I'm sorry.
He's got a history of gaming stuff. So going back to like 2014. So
All right,
could be legit.
I redact my previously possibly mean statement. that
Yeah,
his
I
name
mean,
was
we're
Party
definitely
Hat.
just rolling with it and assuming all the worst out of this, and it's not technically fair. But
They did buy it back, or they did return there. Hopefully they'll get an audit. I would say if you're considering playing this game and putting money into it, wait till they get an audit and see what else it turns.
Well, they said they're currently contacting an auditor, and they'll keep us posted once the discussion is concluded. So we'll keep an eye on it and report back and see what happens.
do you have
And
to?
Bo's gonna get addicted to this game.
Yeah, I know. All right. Do you have to pay to play? I mean, like, how does this work? I mean,
Well, if it's an NFT game, you probably have to own the
Yeah.
NFT, stake the NFT, get their coins,
Oh, God,
which is the
this sounds
PXP.
horrible.
This sounds
That's
worse
all-
than battle packs, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Well, that's how a lot of the NFT games are.
Yeah.
It
our-
looks
that's
like
what
a
we're moving
casino
into.
game, dude. It looks like some Buffalo shit you see in Vegas.
You just have to. Oh my god.
Oh, dude, this is legit. See, their winner list is just on Google Sheets.
Oh, I love Google.
That's how you gotta distribute that.
Yeah. I mean,
200 lucky pirates get PXP 800. Army.
All right, we should move on.
she's here forever. You're right.
All right, fake Nvidia GPU mining fix was actually malware. I know this
you know
one's-
what this
This
I
is
was gonna say, I know
reminds me
this one
of,
hits
like-
hard for Steve.
yeah, because I love mining, and what's interesting to me is that I flash back to like the Razer 1911 like code generators, that were all backdoored with something. It plays a little 8-bit
Oh, the
music.
keygens, dude.
The
Fuck,
keygens.
I love keygens.
Oh, yeah.
I love keygens.
I have a keygen running on my computer. right
I
now,
still
right
go back and listen to I still go back. There's like YouTube like keygen soundtrack videos,
Yeah.
and I do listen to them. It's like a nostalgia.
Yeah.
So let's back up a little bit. All right, so Nvidia has been pushing out software updates to prevent mining. Is that
It drivers.
is
It's
that
the
a
light
correct
hash rate. It's the whole light hash rate thing that they started in like mid 2020, where most of their cards have like a software embedded. I don't know if it's software or hardware, but it's an embedded limiter for like hashing for specifically, I think mostly Ethereum. There is like some firmware and stuff where you can kind of work around it, but the background is Nvidia got breached and the attackers demanded that they remove the light hash rate thing. That was like their demand. It wasn't like we want bitcoins. It wasn't we want 3080s, which are impossible to find. It was we want you to remove the whole light hash rate, which obviously could be a false flag or whatever. But obviously that's going to lead to copycat attacks, right? Like if people are asking for it, someone's going to give it, whether it's real or not. So
this was a
It's like
piece of
asking for
software,
the moon. Yeah.
right? So allegedly, like on GitHub, a piece of software that would unlock the full mining capabilities.
that sounds legit, right? Published by totally Nvidia.
Well, so there have been other what do you call it, hacks and like firmware updates that have been released to do this. Right?
Yeah, the recent hack and Nvidia got hacked. Their signing certificate
Signing
got
certificate.
released.
They
the code
leaked
signing.
they leaked.
Yeah, so now think about it. I don't know if this was timed before or after that, because they could have signed this with that legitimate code signing cert if they had done it within the right amount of time, right? And then maybe got more people infected before it gets picked up by this malware.
Yeah. Is there a GitHub link to where they actually, like, does anyone, what did it actually look like? Does anyone have like an archived link?
I do not, but we can try to find that.
Steve probably has it on his computer right now. He's been clicking.
Yeah, I know.
Hang on, let me boot it up.
Yeah, if Steve boots up his computer, just music starts playing and it navigates straight to, he's like, oh god, what have I done? Time to reimage.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Nvidia RTX LHR V2. Let me see if I can find that.
So there have been unlockers in the past, so this isn't that new, but obviously, taking advantage of, the scenario.
Oh, here it is.
By the way, in case anyone's wondering, the reason they made these is to try to help GPUs not be so crazy for mining. So.
I will say, if you get an MSI published to GitHub, maybe
Click on that little window down there on the left. Looks like an image or the GIF. Yep. And you can click on that, make it bigger, and play.
What, you can watch
look
it
at
get
that, dude!
executed?
It has
It's like any.run.
It has a picture, dude. You can't. Is it playing music though? Can you hear?
This is exactly what we taught in my class, right? How to use it.
Yeah. Well, it's also cool. Do you see on the right? Oh yeah, MSI exec.exe, PowerShell. PowerShell? Seriously?
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah.
PowerShell's not dead. Long live PowerShell.
Oh yeah.
So there's some malware posing as LHR unlocker. It's crazy.
So what did it actually do? Was it like ransomware or something?
Looking at what the screenshots here, it creates files, creates a process, MSI exec.
It might mine crypto. That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, just at a slower speed.
Because it's funny.
Classification is set to evader. Whoa.
Yeah, it sets persistence. It runs a PowerShell script. I bet it's
Ransomware seems like a good option.
okay.
Well, either way, the story here, guys, is don't just trust random code, even if you're trying to, get your miner to work.
And malware can be posted to GitHub. Just because it's on a public site doesn't mean it's legit.
Yeah.
Yep, like 90% of Steve's repos that he's copied.
Yeah,
are malware.
everything he's followed.
I actually got a takedown notice the other day because I forked a repo that I shouldn't have. And,
So
got
what?
a
Every repo
takedown.
ever?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, at what point does it cross into that line of shouldn't be on GitHub?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think
That's
they probably
kind of arbitrary, right?
They probably scanned it and took it down, right? I would assume eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mimikatz has been up there and hasn't been taken down.
Yeah, go to
years.
try downloading Mimikatz on GitHub and Google freaks out. Everything freaks out.
Chrome
Sure, it freaks out, but it
out.
hasn't been taken off GitHub yet.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
But just good luck downloading it.
I would guess. I mean, this is total speculation. But I would guess that you're allowed to publish bits and bobs components, but you can't publish a fully end-to-end malware that does everything, right? You can Mimikatz. You can't just oh yeah, I got DA with Mimikatz. I mean, you can say that, but there's a lot of other stuff that went along with it. So that's my guess is you're allowed to have some cyber ammo, but you can't have
Isn't
full
Death
blown.
Star Isn't Death Star still up there?
I don't know.
bet
I think it would probably also be the intentions, right? Does it actually hack the computer, or can it be used to hack other computers? Like a cyber weapon that can be used to like against someone else is probably allowed, but then maybe a cyber weapon that's like used against the people downloading it, not allowed. I don't know.
For educational use only.
Right, for education, right? Well, yeah, or like the white hat. Because it's funny because GitHub's an interesting place where like it is kind of the de facto standard for where white hat hacking tools go, and it probably there is a lot of like helpful knowledge and stuff on there. But yeah, when you get to that like level of just a straight up like ransomware program, it's just on GitHub for people to download. I don't know. It's actually an ongoing debate, isn't it? The whole like, what is their policy about malware and all that stuff?
Yeah, and then you could also look at it as like freedom of speech too, because you're just posting this code and.
Well, so Kyle in the chat just made a good point and said that Mimikatz doesn't actually mask what it does, which I think that's a really good point, right? Like if it's malware that's pretending to be something else legit, like that actually, that's way worse.
Typically, when you are on GitHub and you see compiled code but no open sourceness, right? There's no actual source code there, then it's probably, hey, this is probably malware.
Yeah, it does. They do have starters. They have some specific things about like binary files and delivery and things like that on their terms of use.
Yeah, it was also funny too because there was that YouTube downloader that got like caught up in this whole thing as well, and that had come to like the piracy side of it, right?
For DMCA.
Yeah, but it kind of went back and forth, and it was more of like a freedom of speech thing, and they ended up making like a fund and putting it back on GitHub. So like there's a whole fund to fight against this kind of thing. And you're like, well, piracy's bad, and like yes, that's true. But the argument is that the code is just there. It doesn't like you have to execute, and whether that is allowed to be talked about. So
it does. Here's basically what they say. They say we do not allow anyone to use our platform in direct support of unlawful attacks that cause technical harms, such as using GitHub as a means to deliver malicious executables or attack infrastructure. It does say, and then it lists all the things that could be. So basically, this would violate it because it's using their platform for unlawful attacks, right? The lawful part is probably what really matters. Like, just posting Mimikatz doesn't attack anyone, but posting a tool that, I don't know.
Using it as a distribution network, which, by the way, something like IPFS would be better anyways.
Yeah, decentralized. Come on, you gotta get with the program.
Yeah. Welcome to 2020.
All right, so moving on. Next story we've got is this one I thought was actually pretty awesome. So Fiverr NFT developer, first of all, that's kind of an awesome statement in and of itself, created a second owner over contracts in over 31 different projects. So the way this was found, like to start, was kind of interesting. So there was an NFT project called Stars Lab, or the Stars Lab, that were hacked for allegedly 197 ETH, worth around $580,000. And in looking at what happened, it appeared that the tokens were just straight up sent, or that the ETH was just straight up sent via the owner of the account, or of the contract. Now, in analysis of that contract, the actual owner was set to the 0 address, so it was zeroed out, right? And so that made people question, like, okay, so how did the owner send this? It must have been a vulnerability, right? But in looking at the code, what happened is the developer actually set a second owner to the contract, but called it creator. And so what that meant is that the contract could never actually be renounced or transferred fully. Only an additional owner could be added. So the original deployer will always be considered the owner. You can also check the relinquish and transfer ownership functions to see they never overwrite creator. This means if they still have the private key of the deployer, they can pull the money. So like the developer themselves, if they had the private key as the deployer of the contract, they could still pull what was in the contract, even though the owner is the null address.
Yeah, that's tricky, like you said, and it was intentionally kind of obfuscated, right? So it's not like you could easily identify, oh, this is bad, because I guess you could see like, hey, this looks like it's bugged out because the owner's set to 0. But yeah, it's kind of ironic, inspect your goods, I guess.
Well, yeah. So this This
You buy
also
a
brought
car
up.
and there's 2 keys. The manufacturer keeps one of the keys and just like takes the car back. Like, hey, this is never yours. We had a key the whole time.
Well, so here's what's interesting, right? So this brought up a really good debate I saw on Twitter around the idea of modification of libraries that you import, right? So a lot of times projects use really heavily utilized libraries, like Open Zeppelin libraries, right? Like, so the standard like ERC20, standard ERC721 libraries, and if you think about those libraries, those are the ones that have been tested, in thousands of projects, right? So it should raise a red flag if you see projects take those libraries and modify any piece of it, right? Implementing it in your own code and then, customizing it within your own contracts is one thing, but actually taking the libraries and modifying those separately prior to implementing them in your code can raise some red flags. So anyways.
So they
Okay.
mentioned due diligence. What would that exactly look like? If I'm going on Fiverr and purchasing some sick NFTs, what would I do to make sure I'm not about to get bent over?
Well, I mean, understand the contract code, really, right? Like in this industry, I don't think you can just hire someone on Fiverr and expect good results. Like first off, so ZachXBT on Twitter, they actually kind of followed up on this after this initial NFT was compromised. They found 31 other projects that all appear to be contracted by the same Fiverr developer and deployed that allegedly problematic contract.
They can't go back, can they? They're basically stuck with the contract that was originally put in the NFT, right?
Yeah. I mean, like they'd have to migrate, right? Like they have to migrate to a new contract.
It's kind of interesting though, because like if you think about it, they're hiring someone else to do NFT developer work to make an NFT, and like I'm not sure if they're like the artist as opposed to like
the developer. Yeah.
Right? Like if they're trying to sell, right, like this middleman, like if maybe you're making a product and you need a website and you hire somebody to make your website for you, right? But it seems like this is a lot more closer to the chest, because like the whole way you make money off of this should be like hiring someone to make your payment processor and then being surprised that they took
exactly.
right? So.
And it was a developer, right? It was the person writing the contract.
Right.
So the people hiring them probably had little to no knowledge.
Yeah, you're gonna hire somebody. Yeah. The reason you would hire somebody to do your NFT contract, because I don't know how to do an NFT contract, but NFTs are cool and I know how to make cool art, right? Or
Exactly.
Whatever, right? So,
Yeah, I guess like Bo said, do it yourself. Use publicly vetted tools and try to, make that happen yourself. Don't just throw in some random Fiverr's code into your production NFT.
Yeah, until the next news article comes up and it says, developer didn't use the right code for NFT and now lost,
I know,
Well,
true. It's hard.
I actually looked at this on Etherscan and pulled up the one of the transactions where they transfer to a new owner, and that new owner sends the funds to Coinbase, like directly from that wallet. So it's like a one hop, no obfuscation, no tornado.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess I wonder how Fiverr is going to respond to this, right? I mean, obviously, they probably have no real legal responsibility for that, right? If I hire you to do something and then the thing, because it's like not really part of their platform. Like ultimately, the person did deliver a product, but the product was malicious.
Yeah.
So it's
Right,
like
like you said, like I could hire somebody on Fiverr to come change the locks in my house and keep an extra key,
Right, I know, and then that, yeah.
But
I mean,
is that a platform that like Fiverr wants, right? Do they want
Right.
malicious people on their platform, right? Like,
Well,
it's like
true.
hopefully broke on there.
do they want to? It's basically a kind of a fork in the road for Fiverr. Are they going to go the route of like, we're just a marketplace, do whatever you want,
Yeah, we're just making profit off of criminals.
or are they going to be like, no, like crypto developer, like we stand by this, we're going to refund you, although it was like $500K, so.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna step in that one, right?
But yeah, I mean, also it'd be interesting to see if there's any legal action. I mean, like we've said before on the podcast, like how many years would it take for a judge to understand what happened in the first place? Like, so okay, you hired someone to write the code. The code was bad, but not really. But then you increased the value of your NFTs, which made all this money. But then you went to sell your NFTs, and it's just.
And code is law.
Code is law, man.
Yeah,
The code
is
said
law.
he could take it. He was the creator. The
Yes,
code said.
you knew what
Did
you
he-
got yourself into.
I will
Did
say-
you not read the code?
Code is law is kind of a little bit sketchy when you wrote the code. It's like that's your code of being like, actually my house is a sovereign nation. I
I
seceded.
wrote the law that says that, and you accepted it.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
It's the equivalent of
Stay
writing
safe.
backdoor into anything, really.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
careful. Yeah, be careful out there. But like Steve said, it's hard. It's hard to like review the contract if you're hiring someone to write it. It's hard to be like, yeah, it looks good, man.
Sometimes-
Like
It's still good to go to Etherscan and look it up. There could be notes or comments on that contract, right? That somebody else got burned before you or whatever. So it's always good to go there.
Well, so-
and
so
check
maybe
it out.
reuse it. Yeah, they'll
You-
get lazy eventually. Yeah.
No, so if you're gonna hire somebody on Fiverr to write your contract, at least hire somebody on Fiverr to audit your contract too.
that don't know each other, right?
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
they have to be separate
Confirm
parties.
It's not the same guy
It's the
using
same
two
dude.
accounts.
Them on both sides.
Well, so yeah, that's interesting. It's really interesting when you think about like, yeah, if I'm on Fiverr auditing people, I'm just gonna say like, looks good, looks good, looks good. Give me that money, like you know. But
Okay, don't buy anything from Corey on Fiverr.
well, I will say if you're looking for pen
Oh
testers,
my God, there is somebody on Fiverr that audits smart contracts.
Oh my God.
I knew it. I knew it.
So wait, we
Up to
should
300
hire them.
lines for $95.
So wait, let's do it. Let's hire them to audit this NFT and see what they say.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
hopefully they don't just Google it and find that there's public.
I mean,
honestly,
at least they'd be
would
doing
be-
their job at that point.
It would be very interesting to see what they would find. It'd be pretty fun. They probably just run a tool, right? They probably just run.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they should at least state what they do, but you know.
Yeah,
Oh man. Okay.
that's crazy.
All right. So next story. This one I just saw this morning. Actually, kind of interesting. So apparently Polygon was down for like 11 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that last
Polygon's
night.
based on Discord.
Or
Then
8 hours.
That's probably an AWS.
They're on the same servers.
they're on the same servers as Discord.
AWS.
That was GCP, wasn't it?
Was
There
it
was a lot of
GCP?
services.
Yeah.
I think it was all yesterday, wasn't it?
Decentralization,
ago.
centralization,
Yeah.
decentralization. Where are we going?
Right?
Was
Yeah.
the whole network down, or was it just like the block explorer to the network is down?
I think it was the actual network, the proof of stake blockchain Heimdall, a small upgrade on the second layer, the block production layer based on GETH or Geth or whatever.
So this does bring up a point though about like centralization versus decentralization. If all of your decentralized servers are all on the same centralized cloud provider, is that really decentralization at that
No.
point, right?
No,
Like-
but it was bad code, so it doesn't matter
Mm.
where the hell it was hosted. It was going down no matter what.
It's going down.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I just thinking about that like
No funds lost though, right? It's just an outage. Like no
Yeah.
money was stolen or anything.
So I believe so. Yeah.
Isn't Polygon
Yeah,
like
yep.
the up and comer for NFTs?
No, Polygon is like one of the bigger. They had like the biggest hack ever. They were the 500 mil hack.
Oh yeah, that's
They're
right.
they're cross chain.
Well, so that
Yeah,
was
Yeah, the
Polygon Network.
Oh, this is different?
slightly different than.
Oh my god, this
Polygon,
is so
the
confusing, dude.
blockchain.
God damn it.
So wait, what is Polygon then?
So can we
So-
have a rule that you can't use the same name?
Yeah, so Polygon is it's a sidechain that is an EVM compatible sidechain with Ethereum, and
Oh.
that is
hold
like
on.
your question in terms. Oh, go ahead.
Well, so all right. So the way I understood Polygon is that it's ETH compatible, right? So it's a
Yes.
alternate ETH, compatible chain, right? There's a bunch out there, right? Binance Smart Chain is kind of one of them, though it's a little bit different, and like they all kind of like throw in this different different little features.
Avalanche, AVAC.
Avalanche, yeah, stuff like that, right? So the idea is that it is a, has smart contract functions and stuff with the ERC compatible, right? We're gonna use this air quotes. Like you can, with that, you can make a site, or use the same code or contracts over again just on the other network. And the benefit of any of these is that the gas and the fees are significantly lower, right? So you can just actually get going as opposed to paying like $1 million to send $2 in gas.
Correct.
But what do you call it? Isn't that what Polygon is? So what's the difference here? What's the other Polygon?
That's a good question, actually. I just remember it coming up whenever we talked about it initially.
So there isn't an ERC20 Ethereum.
Poly Network, that's what it was. Poly Network, not Polygon Network.
Got it. Poly Network versus Polygon.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, those are two different names. All right,
And don't get it.
number one.
And then you got to realize that it's also called Matic.
Oh yeah, the token.
Oh, wait, their token is
Token's
Matic,
called Matic,
and it's MRC20, not ERC20.
Yeah.
It's like the.
So it's compatible
whatever.
though. Yeah.
It's so like you don't have to change your code that much. There's probably some like nuance differences, but for the most part, the idea is to be able to forklift your code to this network without having to change too much.
So is there with this it being down for several hours, does that mean that proof of stake is more vulnerable to outages than proof of work?
So I doubt it, because if the code is bad either way, it's going to go down either way, right? If I push out bad code to
because
1,000
miners on proof of work have the choice of choosing which update they're mining to, right? Which one they approve. So if bad code goes out, all the miners can just choose not to mine to it, and then it basically just dies.
Once they figure it out. I mean, there'll be disruption, but it'll never be a zero outage.
Isn't that true for proof of stake too? Then
well, there's no state. There's no
like
proof of stake, but
I'm assuming in the ETH like staking node configuration, you can pick which code base you're like staking on, right? Probably.
I guess.
I also don't know anyone that mines that would know how to switch forks.
Well, it's usually the pool. It's the pool. Yeah, the pool
Yeah.
switches, and then you mine to that pool to show your support of that pool.
Which I would assume that the proof of stake you can do the same thing.
I would think so, but it
They
sounds
did
like
hard fork. Polygon had to hard fork a while back. We probably talked about it, but they apparently had all their Matic tokens were at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Who hasn't had to hard fork? I mean, ETH did it so big that there's still ETH Classic.
Yeah. They need to hard fork on the freaking POW over here.
Yeah, so I
Or
can finally
POS.
buy a new GPU.
Yeah, so
Well, also all these side chains are like, I guess theoretically kind of redundant, right? Like,
Yeah.
if they go POS.
right. So
I
I guess at ETH Denver, which was what, a couple weeks ago, Vitalik had mentioned that ETH 2.0 is like a couple months out. So who knows how accurate that is. But that
Get
would
your
be
credit
pretty,
cards ready. We could
pretty
be
cool.
getting GPUs, boys.
Oh, snap.
Well, no, not Metallica, Ryan. Vitalik. The creator of Ethereum.
Yeah, he actually moonlights as an Ethereum developer.
He's the guy that said...
Yeah,
side
Vitalik,
chains
the
are
lead
bad.
singer of Metallica. You know.
Yeah, no, he
Vitalik
rocks.
Hetfield.
Yes.
Yeah, Metallica may be the last band to adopt crypto after the whole drama with their...
Napster?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
were really...
oh, this brings up a great point. So, on the Napster line, I don't know if you guys saw it, but LimeWire is making a comeback.
No.
As an
Oh
NFT
my
trading
Oh
platform.
my god, it's gonna be so amazing because my like $8 a month Spotify is now gonna be ruined.
Is it
I don't
blockchain?
understand.
Is it blockchain? It's blockchain.
No, dude, they're not doing a music service. They're doing an NFT trading platform like OpenSea.
Oh, come on! I wanted to.
So
I
what
wanted
is
to
it like?
spread
I
all
just
my
get-
keygens.
Yeah, dude, where am I gonna get my keygens? And
I know, right?
Dude, I mean, the guy... Okay, so Chia was started by the guy that wrote BitTorrent. That's another old school, we saw how that went.
What?
I guess it's still going.
I still have Chia.
Just because you wrote a sick app back in the day doesn't mean much.
I'm holding. I'm gonna
Oh, I am
hodl it
too.
all the way until the.
Well, also because you can't sell it.
I know.
There's-
that's
there
true.
is that.
Well, I mean, it's an
All right.
off ramp, on ramp.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Oh no! Here we.
Yeah, it's time. We're down to the wire here. We only got like 6 minutes left.
What are you going to do? Send us all NFTs for free?
Please.
You heard it here. Here comes the airdrop. Send me 0.1 ETH, and I will send you back one. So,
Don't send them any.
yeah,
Don't do
that. Well, I'm not going to give you my address anyways. But if you were to support the Ukraine government with their recent campaign to basically gather cryptocurrencies for their cause, we're going to investigate a little bit about what happens there, who's donating, really, how to see that, where are the funds going to, and kind of get some validation that this hopefully isn't a giant scam, and kind of answer a few questions and create a couple more along the way. So they gave us a BTC address and an Ethereum address and asked for ETH or USDT, ERC20 form. If we pull that address up in Etherscan, let me refresh this because there are still transactions coming in. We can see they've actually labeled it the Ukrainian crypto donation address here in Etherscan, so you can validate that that is correct, the one that you're depositing to. So we can see people depositing into this, even straight from Coinbase, right? They're buying crypto straight from an exchange and sending it right here. So we can then pull this up. There's this great app called Breadcrumbs. Bo got me onto this.
This is awesome. Yeah, I just saw this week.
Yeah,
And
so go ahead.
I'm like psyched about Breadcrumbs. This is a really, really cool app.
Yeah, so it's an analytics app, basically a visualization of blockchain happenings. You can post in an address or a contract. Here we're going to post in the Ethereum address for the Ukraine government, and we can see that there are a lot of FTX purchases here, 136 K worth into there. Cat.eth has donated a bunch, so we can see like where the funds are coming from. We can also click on it. We can see the ins and the outs, incoming value, outgoing, or incoming volume, outgoing volume, things like that. What we want to see though is where is this going, right? Where are the funds going to? So we see this going to two wallets. There's this wallet right here, and then this wallet right here. So this bottom wallet is actually a cryptocurrency exchange called Kuna, and you can see that down here. If you zoom in here a bit, Kuna.io. So it is labeled here. You can see that it is going to that exchange, and this wallet up here is also going to that exchange. It has sent some funds to the exchange. We can also check more outgoing from that wallet and see that not all the funds go to that exchange directly. They're also going to these other funds. I don't know what the leaf is. I've checked some of these other addresses here, and those are other Kuna addresses, Kuna wallets.
That's like a Binance logo.
It is, but if you actually click on, let's see, yeah, so that one's going to Binance. I don't know what the green one is. Let's see what that one is. Bitfinex. Kuna, and maybe it was this unknown one that took 113 ETH. If we take that one and put it into Etherscan. Should be, it's about empty now, minus some gas. Now the thing that I wanted to point out is that we can't see like what's being bought, what's being purchased with these funds. So that's still an unknown. We've seen news reports, right? There's been a couple articles out there that have said that it's being used to purchase things like military equipment, helmets, vests, clothing, things like that. So that's one thing you don't see here is what it's actually going for. We do know it's getting cashed out. Now we can go check the Bitcoin address. And here's the Bitcoin address on blockchain.com, also labeled as Ukraine donation address. Has received a total of 295 Bitcoin, so quite a bit. Sent out 289, so with a final balance of 5 currently sitting there right now. We can see that there are some incoming today. Now, if we can also do that in Breadcrumbs as well. So Breadcrumbs will take Bitcoin, Polygon, and any other ERC20 token along with Ethereum. So here we see the Bitcoin are actually going to I don't never know how to say this, Huobi.com for the most part.
Are the lines like thicker if there's more being sent? Like, wouldn't those top 2 lines be the thickest? Or I don't know.
Typically, yes. Like if you hover over it, or if you scroll in. No, they're thicker when there's incoming and outgoing, or when multiple lines are stacked on each other here. So like
more
this,
transactions, not more overall total volume.
right. So this address has sent a total of 206 to the Ukrainian government. So that's quite a bit from one address. We can see that it goes to this exchange. They've cashed out mostly from there. And then, I think I wanted to go back to here and do this one. Okay, so here's what I wanted to see. So we do see a couple of yellow marks on here. Bitcoin Abuse is a website you can go to. I think it's bitcoinabuse.org or something like that. And you can see there's actually in breadcrumbs, it'll give you a little note that it is part of the Bitcoin Abuse database. Now, the thing to note about this is that anybody can put this in there. Anybody can write in here. So what we see here is somebody's labeling this wallet address as, I'm a former employee of these scammers. The owner of these, so first of all, I was an employee of these scammers. Interesting. And the owner of these wallets are doing huge investment in Terra in Russia and Eastern Europe. So we see that people, and this could be like misinformation, but you never know. We can see that one of the address it goes to is also there.
Can anyone just add info? Can I just go in here and be
Yes.
like, no, you're wrong?
See, like this one is, to this address, hackers sent stolen BTC from my wallet. So anybody can go into.
So it could just be like someone sent it to an exchange. They're like, this exchange is bad because they sent it there, like that.
Yeah, exactly. So like here is the Bitcoin Abuse database. You can come on here and you can just do create report, and anybody can do it. So so you can, like, I could, if I knew Ralph's, I could say he was doing bad stuff and go.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I will say we speculated in the chat about what where this money might be going. A lot of the times, I think when people, we talk about who accepts payment. Also, Steve email leaked. LOL. But no, basically the the source, I think a lot of the time is why people aren't taking Bitcoin payments or something, because they, if you're like Newegg or whatever, and people are buying GPUs with stolen Bitcoin, that's on you. But in this case, it's the Ukrainian government. So, like, they're probably good for it, right? Like, if they probably are supposed to be keeping, like, it's on them, since they're a government, to keep track of, like, where this money's coming from, to ensure that it's actually legit, all that stuff. So, like, I could see if you're, like, a military surplus running in, like, Poland, and they're like, hey, we'd like to buy 3,000, flak jackets or whatever, and we'll give you Bitcoin. Like, I'd take it, personally, because it's the Ukrainian government, right? It's not like... if you could probably invoice them for the money if it falls through or whatever. Like, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. Obviously, we know from what Steve just showed us, a lot of it is going to exchanges, but not all of it. So I'm curious: are there any vendors? Like, I know you can't buy MiG-29s with crypto, but like, can you? So that's the other thing I wanted to say is, like, if you're a nation state, crypto is actually a decent way to exchange money, right? Like,
lots of it, yeah.
Like, if you're like, oh, I want to send you like $2 billion, like, dude, how many briefcases of cash is that? That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily. I mean, it's pretty cheap to buy a jet, with crypto.
It just takes one Turkish Martha Stewart to send it.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't even imagine, like, if you could just order a MiG-29 for, like, a Bitcoin.
Yeah. No, I mean, my new website, MiG-29.
Discount MiG-29. Dude, also...
that's what the address will be on the chain, right? It'll be, like, instead of...
MiG-29.eth.
Yeah.
Yeah, or MiG-29.eth.
So, dude, the other thing is all these Ukrainian farmers that are taking the tanks that are stuck in the mud, and, like, are they going to be selling them for crypto? Like, you can go buy a discount SAM for, like, 2 ETH.
Yeah,
how are you going to ship it, though?
Yeah, I was going to say, dude, look at the bottom at the shipping rate. It's out of this world.
Buyer is responsible for pickup.
Yeah, responsible to drive this thing back to your country. And you have to pay for gas.
That's
Awesome.
that's the gotcha. Even Putin can't get gas right now,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
and not ETH gas. We're talking about the
No, we're
liquid
talking
stuff.
about that oily stuff, you know.
Well, that was a cool demo, Steve. It's cool to see how the money's flowing, and it does make sense they're using it. It's cool they're not just letting it sit in the account. They're actually using it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to put this link to breadcrumbs in here so people can go check it out themselves.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the demo there, Steve, and thanks guys for hanging out. I know Corey and Ralph are gonna go do some hippie stuff now.
Oh yeah,
We're gonna go join a riot downtown, baby.
So you guys have fun with that. Thanks everyone for listening. It's been a fun episode. If you
Smash
have
that
not-
like button.
Yeah, smash that like button. Follow us on
Twice.
Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube.
Send Stevie.
And-
Actually, don't.
Send Stevie. Yeah.
We will be back next week for another episode of CoinSec Podcast. All right, everyone.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. See you then.